Back in 2007, city staff launched a very large and public planning effort to decide how to create connectivity and capacity in and out of downtown Richland. After several public meetings, studies, and council workshops, Richland City Council ultimately decided that the Duportail Corridor plan was the way to go. The plan is broken down into a number of pieces, with the most visible piece being the Duportail Bridge. But the remainder of the project, from the bypass highway into downtown, is road improvements and/or new segments of road within the city. Recently, city staff held an open house at the Richland Public Library to discuss the Duportail Corridor plan with residents and to share with them the first phase of the plan, the Stevens Drive extension.
About 30 interested residents gathered at the Richland Public Library to learn more about the Stevens Drive extension project. The open house gave residents the opportunity to speak one-on-one with public works staff about the project and get their questions answered. The primary input staff received from residents was simple curiosity and the desire to familiarize themselves with the plan.
The project extends a new road from the intersection of Lee and Stevens in downtown here, and it swings south into the west and connects in at Wellesian Way and Wellhouse Loop. And it's our first segment of New Street as part of Duportail Stevens Corridor, which has been a focus of an improvement effort for the last 5 or 6 years. That the city identified that as something to help relieve some congestion in downtown, provide an alternate route coming to and leaving the downtown area to areas south of the Yakima River.
In addition, the plan calls for Fitch Street to be extended to Stevens Drive and Elliott Street to be vacated. The project is fully funded, but before crews can begin, the city needs to purchase 6 parcels of privately owned property.
When you do a new roadway, oftentimes we don't own the property for it. And so that's the case with some of the property on this Stevens extension. There are segments of the road where the city doesn't own the property. And there's a process for identifying that property and then engaging the property owners to acquire it. Property owners have been notified, and there's been a formal appraisal of the value of their property completed. All that was estimated a year to 2 years ago when we created the budget for the project and started assembling the funds. So now the funds are complete and we're ready to implement the plan.
The Duportail and Stevens Drive Corridor Improvements Project is split into 3 phases, with the final phase being the highly anticipated Duportail Bridge. This has several residents questioning why the city isn't saving money from smaller projects like the Stevens Drive extension to help fund the more expensive Duportail Bridge project.
Trying to break that down into simple terms, the bridge is a $35 to $40 million project. And we have access to grant programs that on an annual basis distribute $1 million to $2 million. Those programs expect performance or expect implementation of plans. And so simply banking up $1, $2, or $3 million at a time to eventually build the bridge isn't really a winning strategy, and it's not really feasible because the grant programs that award money want things to happen more quickly. So the bridge and these road segments, while they're related, they're on a little bit different track in terms of how we fund them and how they'll get together. The bridge is still really our #1 priority. In between money the city has acquired, city money that they've put to it, and some grant monies that we have been able to get some preparatory steps done. We've spent a couple $1 million preparing for the bridge, and we're actively looking for that next chunk of money to make the construction of the bridge feasible. In the meantime, though, it's not really feasible to save up $1, $2, or $3 million at a time for many years until we get it.
Staff estimates that the process of acquiring property could take upwards of 6 months to complete, so they anticipate construction on the Stevens Drive extension to begin during the second half of 2014, and the road to be complete in the early spring of 2015. If you would like more information on the Stevens Drive extension, visit the City of Richland's webpage, click on Departments, Public Works, Engineering Division, and finally, Capital Projects.